Hello, this is Dr. Aliana J. Marin. You're joining me in a series that I'm privately offering on my own YouTube channel, and it's dominantly geared for students who are in my classes at Northwestern University in the Master of Science in Data Science program, Artificial Intelligence Specialization, where I've evolved and I'm teaching 3 different classes: Natural Language Processing, Deep Learning, and Artificial Intelligence, and the capstone class. So you could be in any of these 3, or you're doing your own work, and this could be relevant to your writing your reports. So we're going to talk today about the problem statement. This is the toughest thing. Now, one of the things that I'm finding is that people are doing a fabulous job of the algorithmic end of things. I rarely have to make a comment or a correction. Most people are doing really awesome, amazing. They understand the algorithms, they can run the code, they can find new pieces of code and incorporate it in. They're either finding a decent data set or they're curating and collecting their own data set, which is a huge job. Magnificent work. I almost never have to talk about that with them. Where it's tricky, where it's hard, is writing your problem statement. So it's the putting down on paper what it is that you're really doing. And this is so much harder than you would think, because you're used to, very likely, you're used to writing out reports, and it's like algorithm this, data that, results, here's some graphs, here's some charts and figures, here's my analysis and interpretation. It's really the hardest thing to get clarity on the problem that you're solving, because you're not like super open-ended. You're not trying to assess a couple of algorithms in natural language processing, for example, for the entire space of natural language processing applications. God, no. You're typically dealing with a very precise corpus and a couple of well-chosen algorithms, maybe in tiers, so that you're looking at this versus that and then another this versus that, but it's very specifically focused within a specific problem domain. So your job is to get clarity on the fact that you're using certain kinds of data, certain sources which have unique characteristics defining them. So your data source could be entirely different from somebody else's. Therefore, your algorithms that perform best could be different from somebody else's. And the list goes on. So you need clarity on what it is that you're going to do. As a recent example, I'm writing a paper right now. I hope to submit it to IEEE transactions on pattern analysis and machine intelligence. That's IEEE TransPANI. I wrote an intro, a problem statement earlier, a few months ago. And then I went back to it a few weeks ago and said, oh my God, that's really kind of like, eh. And I rewrote it. And then just very recently I picked it up again and I looked at it and said, it's not so bad, but it's not hitting the nail precisely on the head. It's hitting it more like sideways. It's an important point, but it's slightly tangential to the main thrust. And I rewrote it again. I may wind up rewriting it again. And I'm a pretty good writer. I've been honing this skill set for all my professional life. So I tend to forget how hard it can be, either until I see your work and it's like, oh, wow, they're having a hard time expressing exactly what the problem is. Or I'm writing again, I'm saying, wow, I just didn't get it. So the way to do your problem statement is you make your first draft early. It can be junk. It can be purely just to get words down on the paper that you will throw away later. Then as often as you can throughout the quarter, you go back and you revisit your problem statement and you look at it in light of what you're doing, in light of the data that you've actually got and how it's worked out and what you're seeing about other data sources, in light of the algorithms that you're using, in light of the results that you're getting, in light of the finessing and the fine-tuning that you've had to do, in light of what your analysis and interpretation has brought to mind, causing you to go all the way back and reconsider what the problem was that you really are addressing, and perhaps some slight uniqueness to what you're doing that makes your work distinctive or stand outable with regard to the many other people who are doing similar or even the same project in NLP. So, and I was just using natural language processing as an example. You could be doing something in the deep learning architecture. You can be doing a capstone project totally of your own invention and using any kind of algorithms that seem appropriate to you. So Go back, revisit your problem statement often, rewrite often, keep refining that. It is the one key thing in your paper that will take the most time, attention, scratching your head every so often. And then also, as you do that, go back and revisit your abstract, because your abstract has to be tight. You have to get your readership focused on what the problem is that you're doing right away. First thing, first sentence has got to grab them and get them focused on whether or not they're going to read your paper. And then you can expand a little bit in your abstract on data, methods, results, analysis, and interpretation. One sentence each. There's no room in your abstract for setting the broad context. That goes into your introduction, and it cues up your problem statement. Thanks for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day.